I remember coming here in the early 2000s, drinking the tea with the founder, Mr. Ahmed, who was already over 80, close to 90 years old. And he had never worn any other watch than a Western watch. So this really particular relationship has been passed on to his children. We were working closely with the late Mr. Ibrahim. I remember seeing him. He was telling me, as a young man, I was 24 years old when I took over the management of the company, he was telling me, make revolution. So we have been really inspired, and our relationship over the last 75 years has been really marked with respect and close collaboration. So I am Mr. Jérôme Monnat. I'm the managing director of the Western Watch Company in Switzerland for the last 25 years. I'm a watch engineer. I've studied in l'Alb, and I've been graduated as a watch conception engineer. And we have a family company in the canton of Valais, in the mountains, in the Swiss Alps. We have 100 technicians in our factory. We are specialized in the assembly of mechanical movements for the last 60 years. And Western is with us for the last 25 years, and we have the opportunity to discover and trade our watches to many countries in the Middle East and in Asia. So the Western Watch Company was founded in the 1880s in Bombay, in India. These were Swiss watchmakers of the village of Saint-Imier, the same city as Longines or Heuer. And one of the sons of the family went to India in the 1880s and was marketing the pocket watches of the family production. And they rapidly became the number one brand in the British India market. They were selling watches to the Indian Army, the civil services. They were also giving the time to the huge railway system. Western became the number one brand in India until the independence in the 1940s, 50s. Then the market was unfortunately closed to the importation of Swiss watches. Luckily, the brand had been active already since the 30s in the Gulf countries, starting with Iran, Bahrain, and the brand became, after the oil boom in the 1950s, the number one brand in the Gulf countries until the end of the 1970s, when the market was experiencing deep changes with the arrival of quartz watches. Since the late 1940s, the Western Watch Company is collaborating. Was the first brand of the Ahmed Seddiqi company, and we are now happy to celebrate 75 years of collaboration with the Seddiqi family. So the first watches of the Western Company came into the Gulf countries during World War I, when the British Empire sent over 50,000 soldiers to Basra in Iraq to fight against the Ottoman and German coalition. And these 50,000 soldiers were each of one was having a Western wristwatch. These were the first wristwatches in the history. And they were developed especially for the soldiers of World War I. So these first watches came into the Arab countries, to Saudi Arabia with the British troops, with Lawrence of Arabia. So a very long history. But the huge presence of the brand in the Gulf countries started in the post-World War II, in the 1950s, 1960s, when the region developed thanks to the oil exploitation. So the first Western watches came in the 1930s in Bahrain, and then in Kuwait, and then in Dubai in the 1940s. The brand would never have been able to develop at the same level in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, selling up to 1 million mechanical watches a year without the strong support of the original historical agents. And we are very proud that we have been able to keep this strong and personal relationship with our historical agents like Bebeani in Kuwait, and the Seddiqi family here also in Dubai. Without the support of these families and this personal relationship, without those, the brand would not have been able to develop at the same level, and would probably have disappeared in the 1980s, when most of the Swiss watch brand died, unfortunately, with the arrival of quartz, cheap quartz watches made in Asia. So the Western watch has always produced mechanical watches, strong, dependable, reliable watches for the hard climate of India or the desert of Arabia. And we have always been willing to develop watches that are dependable and also with designs that are not fashionable. The Western watches that we develop, they have to be able to stand the test of time. It's very important that the watch design produced by Western is not looking stupid after 3, 4, 5 years. We really want the people to carry watches over decades, and it's really a pleasure for us to see some of the watches dating back to the 1950s, 60s that the people are cherishing in their families, that are passing from grandfather to grandchildren. So it's a very personal and deep relation between the Western customers and their Western watches that they collect. Sometimes we have people that show us their collections with dozens of Western watches. So it's very, very particular. I think Western is a unique brand in its relationship with the people of Middle East. So Western watches have always been watches that have been affordable to purchase, and this is something we really want to keep. Nowadays, Swiss watch brands have really specialized into high-end prices, and they are, most of them are not accessible to normal people, and it's very sad. Swiss watches, like me, I'm 200 years of Swiss family. We are humble, hardworking people, and I think it's very important that we keep these values and transmit them over the time. And with Western, of course, today it's not also easy due to the cost. In Switzerland, we are one of the most expensive countries in the world. To go on producing watches in the sub $1,000 price range with mechanical automatic movements, really challenge. But it's really our strategy, and I think in the last 3, 4, 5 years, we experienced a big boom in the Gulf countries because we are the last to offer high quality watches with strong and personal design in this price range. I think in the future, Swiss watches will become more and more expensive, and the volumes we see them, they are reduced year after year. What we were producing around 30 million watches in Switzerland for 15 years. And now we came down to 15 million. This year particularly, the volumes are reducing, and it's a very concerning development. I believe for our brand, it will be a big part of our success in the future if we are able to stick to these reasonably priced ranges. To achieve this target, we need to be able to have a strong technical capacities like we have them. We are not a purely marketing company. We have really watchmakers. We have 100 watchmakers. And so we are really able to produce and manage our activity and offer the best Swiss quality in a reasonably priced range. I think the success of Western in the UAE is really due to this very particular relationship with the Sediki family. I remember coming here in the early 2000s, drinking the tea with the founder, Mr. Ahmed, who was already over 80, close to 90 years old. And he had never worn any other watch than a Western watch. He was telling me Western is the mother of all Swiss brands. So this really particular relationship has been passed on to his children. We were working closely with the late Mr. Ibrahim. I remember seeing him. He was telling me, as a young man, I was 24 years old when I took over the management of the company. He was telling me, make revolution. So we have been really inspired, and our relationship over the last 75 years has been really marked with respect and close collaboration.